Hey there, Irene here, and today we're going to talk about step 2 and what you need to do in order to not be your average baby mama. Let's get into this. This may be very hard for you, but I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Okay? Step number 2 is while you're working on yourself, in step number 1, do not complain to your ex about anything. Anything. That's probably the hardest thing, right? Just don't say anything. Don't tell him about himself and how you feel about him and all the things you're coming across as you're fixing yourself. Don't tell him. Don't tell him anything. Now, if something severe comes up during this process, absolutely talk about it. But if it is not severe, please refer to someone who has very good logic, to your best friend or whoever it may be, to back you up on whether you really need to talk to this person about that. Okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do that. Don't talk to him about whatever is going on with him and his issues and all that, because there may be a lot of things wrong with him. And if you're working on yourself and you're trying to get to a good place and have happiness and be content in your own life, worrying about what another person is doing and their negativity and the drama that they bring to you is gonna pull you right out of that state of being. You don't want to do that. That'll be basically you intentionally working against yourself. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to be working with yourself, figuring out what you need to do in order to get to a good place. What's gonna make you happy? You know what I mean? Like, you want to be you want to be to that place. You want to get to that place. And not only is it gonna make you happy, but once you work on yourself, you'll be able to work with him on what needs to happen so that you both can have a more calm and understanding and relatable conversation and situation with each other. And your child is going to be so much more happier because they're not going to have to feel the tension between you two. So there's so many benefits to these steps. All right. So while you're working on yourself, don't complain to him. You don't actually need to say everything that comes to your mind. You don't have to say every emotion or express every emotion that you're feeling at the time. You don't have to. Okay? You don't. You can handle it. You're an adult. You can handle your emotions. Okay? So as you go through the process and he does something in front of you or he says something, pretend like he's not even there, okay? In the most kind way that you can without addressing him, okay? Address him like a toddler who's throwing a tantrum. You're not gonna curse out a toddler who doesn't have control of themselves, right? This guy obviously doesn't have control of himself, and you do not need to get involved in that. You address them politely and you try to move on with the situation. That is what you need to do. Let's say that was the A part of this. The B part of this is don't take anything personally. Nothing that he says or does, none of it. Don't take any of it personally. And I'm gonna tell you why. It may feel like the majority of the things that he says are about you or because of you. Most likely it's not. Most likely it's not. So hear me out. Most of the time when people do things, or react a certain way, it's because you're triggering something in them that is making them feel uncomfortable with themselves, right? So you say something and they realize that this is the area where they're lacking, right? And you're probably like soaring way above them when it comes to this stuff. And the only way for them to make you not feel like you are is by attacking you and saying something to you. So there's some jealousy in that. Sometimes it can be unearned discord, right? So discord is where you two are just not meshing, right? So you're having conflict with each other. And basically, sometimes what can happen is something happened to someone a long time ago, right? And you have blonde hair and blue eyes, and you know, you love the color pink. And this person who hurt them years ago has blonde hair and blue eyes and loves the color pink. And all of a sudden, they meet you, and all of those feelings now go toward you. So it's unearned. You didn't do anything. But for some reason, the connection between you two is bringing up some emotion from something that happened with somebody else in some other situation. Again, not your fault. If you know you haven't done anything and you know that the situation just doesn't really make sense, then it probably has nothing to do with you. Even though it's only being directed toward you, for the most part, do not take the things that they are doing personally. It is not about you. And when you do that, let me tell you, when I did this, it's like a breakthrough. When I mastered it, because trust, in the beginning there'll be plenty of times when you feel like, oh, he's coming at me. He's trying to come at me. And realistically, once you get to the point where they can say something to you and you're just kind of like, I kind of sorry for this person that they're going through all this. It has nothing to do with me, and I don't really care. When you get to that point and they don't have power over you anymore, oh, it's such a freeing feeling. I promise you, it's so freeing. You're just, yes. So please work on that, and they will give you plenty of opportunities to work on that. All right? So whenever something comes up, just take what they said, toss that over your shoulder, and keep pushing. Because it's not your problem, and it's not about you. So, those two things. Tell me what you think. Let's talk about it in the comments. And I'll see you soon. Later.